Welcome to a sports betting podcast from pregame.com for October 1st, 2009. I'm your host, RJ Bell. I'm joined by Marco D'Angelo, 30 years in the business, Vegas runner. How long have you been in the business?
Since I was 14, 13, 9.
Genuine
Since birth, almost.
Genuine professional bettor here in Vegas. Okay, this is segment 4 of 5, our second big game preview in the NFL. We're looking at the biggest game of the week, maybe the biggest game of the year so far, Green Bay at Minnesota. All right, straight off, Vegas runner, give us the line and odds report on this game.
Line opened up last week for this week's game. They opened it offshore at Minnesota -3 with the over-under at 47. Immediate money came in on Minnesota and the under. Since that time, we've seen the number move to 3.5 with the total now at 45.
Okay, so this is a classic situation. In fact, Bill Simmons at ESPN does a fun little podcast where they try to guess the line before they know it. And this is a situation that most people would have guessed a higher line than 3, which is where it opened. So, Marco, you usually have strong theories about this. Hit us.
Well, with this line coming out at 3, to me, Vegas wants you to bet Minnesota. And why they want you to bet Minnesota is a mystery to me, because to me, there's only one side that the public's going to fall in love with, and that's going to be Minnesota, especially with the Favre hype and what he did last week.
Well, let's think about this. You're saying that 3 makes you want to bet Minnesota, not you, but most of the public bet Minnesota. And you're saying, why would they want you to bet Minnesota? Well, usually the answer is they want you to bet Minnesota because they like Green Bay even at +3.
Exactly.
Okay, so on one hand, and that's the beauty of sports betting, it's very complicated. There's always a ton of factors. I remember Baltimore-Pittsburgh in a championship game last year, and it was clearly, oftentimes you'll see a line that's inflated by 1 or 2 points because of a premium on a team like the Steelers, but you still like the Steelers because you think there's a factor even bigger than that. But on one factor here, it looks like Vegas is crying for Minnesota money, and they're getting it.
That's my take.
Now, what's your take?
Yeah, and it seems to me that they are taking a position and saying Green Bay at +3 they think is the right side, obviously, for bringing it out that low. My take was it was too low. Based on what we saw, neither team has been tested, but put them on an even field, and you're telling me neutral field, and it's a pick-em game. I don't think so. I think what we've seen so far this year, Minnesota has shown to be the better of the two teams. They're 3-0. Green Bay's 2-1. Green Bay's done that by being +8 in turnovers. So I was a little surprised by seeing the line come out that low, and it gave me the same feeling it gave Marco. Are they taking a position on this
game?
game?
Even if, let's say, I would tend to disagree with the following. I think if you look at Green Bay this season, 3 games, and Minnesota 3 games, they played about equally well to me. And what's interesting is how different this conversation may be, how different public perception would be if one Favre desperation pass hadn't been completed. Now, because he did play a poor game, we were watching the Steeler game together, and you were following the Minnesota game, and you were saying, "Oh my God, has Favre played bad?"
It's dink and dunk. That's what he's doing all season. The guy doesn't go downfield. If he gets a big gain, it's a 7 or 8 yard screen pass or crossing pattern that turns into a big play. They're not hitting the big plays downfield. And I'm not impressed with Favre so far this year.
Impressed with that one play.
You know what? What's lost there is, he threw a pass. The catch was more impressive than the throw.
Still,
Hey,
Favre,
you're drinking the Chuck-a-Luck Kool-Aid.
No. I'm not. Again, I think. It kind of segues to the key point, or one of the key points of this game, and I'll open the question up for you guys. Favre, if he plays within himself, when you add in what he brings to the huddle, what he brings to the locker room, the confidence of with the young players, if he plays within himself, he's certainly a top 15 quarterback in the league. If he tries to do more than he's capable of at this age, he can be a real detriment. Question is, so far this season, he's stayed within himself. Can he stay within himself against Green Bay?
I don't think so. I think they have a better shot when they travel to Green Bay than here at home. I think that's the game he really came back for, and I think that's the game that the Green Bay players will have too much pressure on themselves to perform, too much pressure on Rodgers to get that win for the Green Bay fans. I think traveling to Minnesota, they're relaxed. All the pressure is now on Favre and the Minnesota Vikings. They're supposed to win this game. He's supposed to get revenge on his team. This is why he came back to shine on Monday night. Favre's going to try to do too much, throw 4 picks.
This might be out of nowhere, and Marco, give me just one sec. If I'm not a big halftime player, but if Minnesota's down by like 10 or so, and Favre's going to have to come up and save the day, I'd be looking to fade Minnesota hard in the second half. So to me, if Minnesota falls behind, I think it could be a blowout on the Green Bay side.
I agree.
Just one quick reference, so our viewers, if they're wondering what the Chuck-a-Luck reference is, one of our long-term posters on the forums, Chuck-a-Luck, is a big Brett Favre fan, and he started a big thread this week after Brett Favre had that miracle pass. But really, in all actuality, that could have been the worst thing that happened to Minnesota, because now he's going to get that gunslinger mentality back that he used to do, where he thinks he could put a ball into a small hole, and that can spell turnovers. And one factor in this game that's lost is everybody's in love with Favre and revenge for the way Green Bay sent him out of the city and so forth. Let's not forget, Aaron Rodgers is on the other side of the field, and this guy has had to live in the Brett Favre shadow for the last 3 years. He's got his chance.
Second fiddle.
Is that pressure?
It's not. It's. Revenge. I always like the underdog. I think that when you've got something to prove and you're the one that's getting disrespected, you've got more motivation than the guy that's on top trying to stay there. And I think you're going to see a heck of a game out of Aaron Rodgers on Monday.
Okay, so 15-5 on the road, ATS, Green Bay. So we've got a team that plays well on the road.
Has won the series
recently.
Too.
And I think you guys make an interesting point, is 3-0 versus 2-1. So Minnesota generally there would be favored. The Metrodome with, they're still in the Metrodome, right?
Yeah, Hubert, Humphrey.
The way they change them every couple of weeks
I was just thinking for a second.
Don't bankrupt these companies.
It's a little dig at VR made a mistake a couple of weeks ago. But that's why we're here to help each other with the mistakes, because everyone's going to make mistakes. That's the beauty of having a collective. We got 3 guys here catching each other's missteps, and when all 3 of us agree, you figure something really, there's probably a key point there being made. And speaking of that, and you made a good point about the forums, is you can go to pregame.com and click forums, and there's hundreds of sports bettors talking sports betting all the time. Really cool. So you've got Minnesota 3-0. You've got Favre, the marquee player in the league right now. You've got a Green Bay team that is not playing up to expectation, getting beat by Cincinnati. Is the idea of the line coming out of 3, it really does make you think that they wanted that action on Minnesota. And if so, if you are a contrarian, Green Bay looks like the right side.
Yeah, for contrarian players, this will be a huge play on Monday night.
All right, we got 1 minute. VR, give me another fact in this game we should be thinking about.
The total. It opened 47, went down to 45. Very surprising to me, because usually the betting public bets the Monday night games over. We know that going in, and it's cashed a lot of tickets the last 2 years. But the wise guys jumped under right away. More surprising. I thought they'd let the line go up, especially when you see how these 2 teams put up points every week this year.
If you like under Monday night, typically you're going to wait till Monday, let the public bet the game up. So they must have thought that was
a real bad number.
A real bad, and let's allow that to be a great take. So real quick, great takeaway is when you see, we talk about true steam, and you're doing a true steam report every Monday where you break down the steam in the blog section of pregame.com, is we see a situation where typically they'd wait to the end. They're betting now. They're in a rush to make that bet. Do you like the under here?
They set the line too high based on the perception it's going to be a shootout, Rodgers versus Favre. And the Sharps, they got the number they wanted. They grabbed it now. They didn't wait.
All right, good stuff. Okay, this was segment 4, and segment 5 is coming up, and it's many people's favorite segment. It's the free pick segment this week. And remember, you can get all of our videos at pregame.tv, or you can go to iTunes, download and listen, just search for pregame.com.